Good morning, everybody. Of course, y'all know, or most of you know, it's been morning for quite a while because I'm the third live stream so far this morning. It seems that so many of you have been to. I was up early today, so I chimed in at Kilt's this morning at 6 a.m. And then I understand Aaron had a live stream between Kilt's and me, and here I am. So, y'all know it's me, Mitch, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And as usual, my friends, drink it if you got it. The message for this morning is extolling the laxative benefits of coffee, even decaf. This is one of my fundamental truths right here. The big heavy coffee cup. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you all. Yes. And the right hand is working the mixer. Wow. So I watched Kelsey this morning with his guest Dom. Was surprised to find out that Dom lives here in Melbourne, Florida. There are probably tons of carnivores in the neighborhood in all our neighborhoods that we have no idea are there. How would we know? We know it's growing because many of the servers in restaurants, when we talk about eating all meat, oh, you're a carnivore, they say, which is something that 2 years ago you would never have heard. It's gratifying. So we're not setting the world on fire yet, but we are, let's make a cliche out of it, kindling those embers one at a time. So that was good. And then Kiltz and Nelson are both going to be at our meetup here next Wednesday. And he started promoting our meetup and talking about it. And then I got an email about a half an hour ago from Dom himself, the star of Kiltz's show this morning. And he's going to be at our meetup. Jerry Wojtusz has said he was so happy he's going to make it down here. And we'll see how many people are drawn in. I've never had a meetup so widely publicized, but it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So what have I got to talk about this morning? Let me see. The meetup. Well, got out of the way by accident. Okay. And Kelsey's plugging my book for some reason. I didn't ask him to. I keep saying I really don't try to sell that book. Many people have bought it, which I appreciate, even though I can't figure out why I never get paid any royalties on it. I might have to contact the actual publisher. They sell it through Amazon, but it may be that the book sales over recent years haven't added up to enough to even warrant sending a check. I don't care. I'm not trying to make money selling that book. That book is a mirror into my thinking 23 years ago, which is in so many respects, in most respects, exactly the same as today. And the only changes are diet. And I spend 2 chapters in my book talking about diet, but that was the diet that I believed in 23 years ago. And it was centered mostly around a paleo kind of diet or a low-carb diet, but it wasn't an anti-plant diet back then, because who knew in those days, 23 years ago, that plants were trying to kill us? Who knew? I had the fat part right back then. I'm an Atkins disciple from way before then. But it's interesting to see, looking back at my theories hypothesis about different things, why certain things that seem unexplainable are basically extremely explainable if you grasp physics, science, and reality instead of magic and fantasy. There's anything that happens, anything that we can say, look at that, has a real, explainable cause. We may not understand it now. We may not have discovered it now, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist and it's not discoverable eventually. And that is the premise of my whole book. I hope people that do get a copy and the private community, of which we have a meeting tonight, private community live stream at 7 o'clock. You get to start your day with Mitch and end your day with Mitch. So having that much of me during today, I am not releasing any other videos because I'm getting tired of myself, actually. And can't do that to you. So Peter's talking cars with Rick. Everybody's ignoring me. The chat's gotten way ahead of me already, and we haven't even started, but that's okay. Sometimes I think I try too hard to make sure I shout out everybody. I don't see many other people doing that because the chats just go by too fast. Too many people here. Got 76 people here watching. That's the real hardcore. The hardcore of my morning usually gets up to average around 100. There's just more and more and more live streams, more and more to watch. People can only watch so many hours of this stuff a day. Chat rooms, so many hours a day. So what happens is you see over time, especially I do, that my audience, my core audience, gets smaller. People have to work, people do things, people have been to 2 live streams already today. And they say, well, I'd like to see Mitch, but I just can't make it. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to keep doing this. And I love you guys. I love you guys. So keep in mind, still try to make it to our meetup next Wednesday if you can. Just send me an email at oldguycarnivore@gmail.com and I will put you down. Or, Mike Sealy, go ahead and contact him directly. I think Mike's in the chat here. United Carnivore? Let's see, where are you? Oh, maybe not yet. Okay. But send me a Gmail and we'll coordinate it. Look, hoping to have a nice crowd there. Hoping to have a nice crowd. So, what else did I have to say today? Yes, I know that everybody has spent the night instead of sleeping. I know that you all have been, people are sending me emails this morning. Wow, look at this. Curry Mann sent me an email. Oh, how about that? I will read it here. Very flattering. Said it'll be in Florida this December. I don't know my travel plans, but I'd love to treat you to lunch. Oh, wow. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? I like curry. And I did also. Paul Clark is asking me for info on the meetup. I will reply to that email, Paul, and send you, if you're watching, I'll send you the information. It's the Estampa Gaucha Brazilian restaurant in Melbourne, Florida, Wednesday, July the 2nd, 11:30 in the morning. But I'll send you that. I really have not posted it anywhere. I probably should make a page on my website, but these meetups are usually smaller gatherings. We don't try to sell anything. There's no cost to come other than buying your own lunch. It's not a commercial venture. It's just a get together for people in the area to have lunch. Not a big deal. No programs, no superstars, except we do have Kilts and Nelson coming to this one. So there'll be a few superstars there. However, at one time, Kerry Mann even came to one of our previous ones. It so happens he was in the neighborhood filming his movie. But I digress. I was going down to bring up my last thing on my list to talk about this morning, and that was many of you lost a night's sleep worrying about me and my adventure yesterday for the first time since my stroke, doing an ambitious drive into Orlando, over an hour, getting my teeth cleaned, and then safely driving home. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. First part of it was the drive to there, of the 3. It was wonderful. It was fabulous. It was as though I had never had a stroke. I was just back in my car, driving on Interstate I-95, then the Beachside Expressway, all the way west to Orlando, to the Orlando Beltway, and up around, and navigating through the traffic and the city streets, and get to the dentist. I get there 15 minutes early. I don't have a handicap sticker on my car, so I have to park a little further away from the door, but that's okay. I get out of my car. I have to make the decision. Do I want to take the roller thing out of the back, or am I feeling good enough to just use the cane? I said, oh, I can use the cane. I feel pretty good. Got out of the car, standing up, had good balance, good strength. So I took my cane. I walked around the other parked cars, but I never let the cane touch the ground like I did when I went to lunch. I actually was just walking, which is just great. And I walk up and I walk into the dental office, and everybody greets me. And I've been going to that particular office even before the current dentist owned it. It was my old best friend in the world, was a dentist, and I keep going back there because it's nostalgic for me. And the kid's a great dentist that bought his practice. And I walk in, and the receptionist, who I've known for 15 years, said we had a day off when I was there to get my tooth fixed. We start talking, and I'm talking about my stroke and everything. And she says, well, she'll be with you in about 10 minutes. So I went and sat down, and I waited, having completed phase 1 of my little adventure. So she comes out. I said, are we ready? She said, well, not quite yet. Then she's starting to have a huddle with the girls by the counter, on there and talking around. So I said, you guys talking about me? And they said, well, there was somebody else in the waiting room. We didn't want to. I said, well, what's the matter? What's up? And they were looking at me like their dog just died, trying to figure out how the hell they give me the news that they were going to give me. I was there to get my teeth cleaned. So she says, well, come on back to the room so we can go over your charts. God, you got to love the medical profession. I said, what do you mean come back to the room to go over my charts? I'm here to get my teeth cleaned. Well, yeah, but there's some things we need to go over first. I said, well, then I'm not going to walk all the way back to that room to tell me what it is. What in the world do we need? So the little girl comes around and sits down in the waiting room next to me. She says, I just talked to the dentist. Brian is his name. I'm afraid we can't clean your teeth today because of your stroke. What you talking about? I said. Well, he said to me, there's a law. Honest to God, this is where she said, there's a law that because of the possibility of bleeding and some bacteria getting into your bloodstream from having your teeth cleaned, we have to wait 6 months from when you had your stroke. I said, couldn't you have told me this on the telephone before I spent all this time, gas and toll money to get here? They obviously, nobody was even aware of it. And she was basically coming from the point, well, we didn't know you'd had a stroke. Well, duh, look at my chart. I was in here 6 weeks ago getting a crown put on my tooth, and everybody in there knows I had a stroke, including the girl that cleaned my teeth. Well, I didn't push the point. I didn't push the point. But there may be some validity to it, so I didn't get angry. I enjoyed the hell out of the drive. I really did. It was just so great to get out into the world after being cooped up and limited in movement for so long. And you may not think 4 months. It's been 4 months now. It's a long time, but it is 4 months without being able to get out and see the world, even if it's just from the front seat of a car. I wasn't really mad. We rescheduled it for September. So I now have to wait till September to get my teeth cleaned. Do I think there would have been any problem? No, not at all. Not at all. But he couldn't do it. I don't want him to take any risks if something should happen to me. But I doubt it. So I'll go back in September, get my teeth cleaned. So I walk back out to my car, I get in, and I have a beautiful, wonderful, relaxing, sunny day, no aggravation drive, no hurry, no pushing. I drive back home, and I get home and get back into my house, and it was great. So that's why I said 2 out of the 3 ain't bad. So that's what happened with my teeth cleaning. So you're going to have to put up with a little stained teeth for a while longer. I'm sorry about that. I wish I had piano key looking, pearly white. That is not likely to happen. And I'll tell you what, anytime I see anybody that's my age with a big Cheshire cat grin, pearly white, shiny teeth, I know for a fact that he had to pay for them because your teeth don't stay that white. If you try to keep them white like I did, over a number of years, you actually destroy the enamel on your teeth, and that makes it even worse. And that's what happened to me. My bottom teeth are trashed. The enamel is gone from the lower half of my bottom teeth because I was always trying to make my smile piano key white. And everything we do, or so many things we do when we're younger, we don't realize what price we're going to pay for that when we get older. Seemed like a great idea at the time. Seemed like a great idea. Oh, well, okay. Thanks for putting up with all of that. Holy cow. Let me say hi to some people here. Got some question for me? I'll try to get to it. Put QQQ in the chat. I'll tell you now, I just may not worry about if I don't say hi to you. Hi. Hey, buddy. I'll try to catch names I don't remember. But if we come up on something important to talk about, we'll do that. Gilt had an interesting show this morning. Had an interesting show, but I remember when he would do it by himself, like I do. It's much easier when you have 2 or 3 people to talk to. Believe me. Okay, here we are. Who was first? This was last night at 7:30. I put the live stream up. Mary M. Am I first? Yes, ma'am, you are. Smoothie is second. Peter chimed in way last night. Looking forward to the first Thursday show in several months. That's right, Peter. This is the first Thursday show. It is the 5th consecutive show this week. Be followed by tomorrow morning and then Saturday off. And we all know why Saturday is off. Yes, sir. Aunt B is here. Aunt B said hi. Hello, everyone. Mandy Beddos. Hi, Mitch. Lady June is here. Jim. Mitch and Mitch, it's 9:30 on the West Coast checking in. Loved your shrimp and eggs video. Was yum. See you in the AM. Yeah. Thank you. See you in a few minutes, I guess. Me. Cool cat. Hi, dear Mitch. Love your shrimp and egg recipe. Wow, somebody new. Welcome, me cool cat. We can't have too many cool cats around here. Good to see you. Graceful Lily was in last night. Graceful Lily was not just last night, in the middle of the night, 1:46 a.m. She says, it's almost cool enough to sleep at last. Yeah, everybody has had a heat wave. Wow. Here he is, United Carnivore, Mike Sealy. How you doing, Michael? Good to see you this morning. We'll have to get together. I'll give you a call in a day or two, and we'll finalize what we have so far for the meetup. I'm sure you're taking care of it, though, and I don't worry. Mike Pregler is here. Good morning, Michael. 5:52 a.m. Wayne Herman is here. And then Rick chimes in. Yes, sir, Rick. Good morning from Miami. Pearl Grandma's here. She's going to come visit me on Sunday. How nice. Pearl Grandma, send me an email at OldGuyCarnivore@gmail.com so I will have your return email address so I can send you the link. Please. Rick's buying a van or something. Anyway, big talk there. Sandy Blythe is here. Good morning, Sandy. Mike's father, Mike Shirley Sr. from Melbourne, right here. Now I know there's at least 3 of us carnivores in Melbourne. You, Mike, you, me, and Dom. We're going to meet Dom on Wednesday. Rick says, good morning, Mitch. He's asking, where's Peter? It's a really good, glorious morning. Oh, heat wave finally broke. Glad to hear that. 64 degrees. Oh, wow. How refreshing does that sound? Terry Sue sliding in after Aaron's show ends. Wow. Who comes after me? That's what I want to know. Patty Scott is here. Good morning. And Graceful Lily again. And Tanya, Mitch Fitz assemble. Thomas is here. Good morning, Thomas. Hello, you don't know how far I travel from Aaron's live to Mitch's live. Yes, it's a long trek, gotta tell you. Long way. Now we start talking to each other. 823. Jackie W., realtor from Indiana. How are you? Good morning. I'm trying to say good morning to the people that I haven't shouted out to yet. I'm still of the opinion that when people come to these things, they like to get a mention or a shout out. I know I do when I go to somebody else's. Very rarely do. I do on Kilts and any of you whose live stream I happen to visit. And I can't visit many of them, and I can't stay in the chat because I have so much to do. I always love it when you say hi back to me, but I use my phone. And I do that voice typing. And if I try to say, hi, so-and-so, hi, so-and-so, hi, so-and-so, the voice typing mangles the spelling of it that I'm ashamed to push the send button, so I just don't do it. I say, hi, everybody. I hope you'll know that I notice who says hi to me. See who got here at 8:30 first. Lori Weitzel. Hi, Lori. Good morning to you. Good to see you this morning. And Peter chimed back in this morning. Say good morning, Mitch Fitz. There you go. There you go, Rick. Here's Quack Jr. for you. Claudia Burkick is here. Said good morning, all. Now we're in the 8:29 range. Only 25 minutes ago. Ancient history already. Gary hit it early this morning. Oh, Gary. But after you, we had Aunt B, Terry, Sue, Lori, 929, Thomas. It's a horse race. Lady June. And the winner this morning is retired Rick. So Rick and Gary, no slow, always have a head, nose-to-nose horse race, it seems, every morning. Congratulations, Rick, you got it. And Tanya chimed in right after. Tina Schweikerath is here. Jason H is here. Good morning. Bacon Baby joined us. How you doing? Rick says quack time. Terry Sue, morning, Mitch. Graceful Lily, morning, Mitch Fitz and B at 8:30. Lori again at 8:30. Johnny Drone Flyer, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. One of my old drone buddies is here. 8:30 on the money. Rick again. Wow. Sandy Blythe. Oh, how you doing? Yes, it's Mitch the Professor. That's me. So I was named. Thomas says he'll be the 4th. Well, not quite. You're like the 20th there. Retired. Rick hit it again. Still up at 8:31. So Rick not only hit the first at 8:30, was the first at 8:31. So good morning to everybody. Good morning to everybody. Let me pick out a subject and see what we're all talking about. I made a mistake. Sometimes I do things that I say to myself, is this a sign, Mitch, that you're going senile? Or maybe you're having some effects from the stroke on your memory, or maybe effects from old age. And sometimes it makes me wonder. But I've come to the conclusion that I'm not having any mental problems from old age. I don't think I'm having any mental problems from the stroke. But occasionally, I'll mix up, almost like dyslexia. I'll mix up something very simple, but I only do it when I'm in the middle of multitasking, like 6 different things at one time, which I usually am. I'm usually thinking about something, doing something else, or doing 2 or 3 things at once. I may be uploading a video to YouTube, and while it's uploading, which takes about 20 to 30 minutes, I'll be on one of my customers' websites, editing his website, or I may be on my website, twiddling with my links to Amazon stuff. So I say, you know, even my computer screws up when you're multitasking and crashes sometimes, and I get a blue screen. Well, that happened to me on that, must have happened to me on that video I was uploading on the shrimp and eggs, which, by the way, I hope you like that video. I had that again. That is so tasty. And there's 2 schools of thought on carnivore. The pure carnivore, the meat, salt, and water guys, and I consider, with the exception of his ice cream and some occasional wanderings, because Kiltz isn't as strict as somebody like Anthony Chafee, there's the beef, salt, and water guys. I personally am not one of those. I can't imagine doing carnivore without eating eggs, to tell you the truth. Eggs, to me, are such a great source of fat and all the nutrients that just relying on beef without a little variety, that's not my style. But that doesn't mean that my style is correct or is the only way, which is people get these attitudes. My way is the way. If you don't go my way, then will you? No, no, everybody is unique. And whereas some of these harder core, eat raw fat type carnivores, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do the best I can, not eating raw meat and raw fat. It may be better for me. Okay. I'll just eat a little more of what I eat, and maybe it will equal out in the nutrients. The quantity, because I eat plenty of food in a day. It's not a problem. But I don't take it to that extreme, but I admire the people who do. But I find that a little bit boring. So, and being boring is one of the things that leads people to fall off of this way of life and go back to all the junk and the plants and the sugars and seed oils and everything else. So if you just feel like you need some variety, that's where I live. And I keep trying with my recipes to find out small variety in ways to prepare basically the right foods. So I'm not with that shrimp and egg omelet cooked in butter. I'm not going against any of the covenants of carnivore. I'm saying, here's something that just tastes different. Here's a treat for you, but it's still as healthy as all these other carnivore meals. And that's what I try to do in my recipes. You want beef? Here's a way to make a meatloaf. Combine the beef with the bacon, whatever. So I made that video, and one of the big points that I was trying to say, and I talked about it in the video, and if you watch the video, you'd realize that anytime I talked about the shrimp, I emphasized the fact it was wild caught. And at the same time that I was emphasizing it was wild caught, I was demonizing how trashy and bad all of the farm raised stuff tasted. Because it's horrible. I can't eat it anymore. I can't eat any farm raised fish. I just find it's awful. Once you go back to the wild caught, if it is indeed truly wild caught, and you can tell if you know the difference in taste. And the only kind of fish I eat primarily is salmon. And I threw the shrimp in there for a little treat, and it's so good. The eggs and the shrimp make such a great combination cooked in butter. So tasty. I was blown away by how good that was with those particular shrimp. And they call them jumbo shrimp. And when you think of a jumbo shrimp, you think of a prawn. No, they weren't tiny little shrimp, but they were meaty as hell. And they were more than enough for a mouthful. So they're perfect size shrimp. They're not cheap. But a half a pound of them will cost you about $6. $6. So you want to make something like that, which is a real treat, gourmet, in my opinion, something actually worthy of being served in a restaurant. It's going to cost you a couple bucks worth of eggs, half a dozen eggs at most, and that's a $7, $8 meal, which is not bad for something that filled me up so much that I didn't eat anything else that day. I never got hungry again. Turned out to be my one meal of the day. But what I did, it was so stupid. So stupid. While I was posting the video, you have to put down the title. You have to put the title in there, and then you copy the title to the description. And that's what people see when the thumbnail comes up. I wasn't thinking, I was thinking wild caught, farm raised all day. I'm working on something else or two other things at the same time while this is uploading. It slipped right by me. I didn't notice it. I put in the title, first two words, farm raised shrimp and pasture raised eggs. I didn't notice it. Most people didn't notice it. People who actually watched the video didn't think it. But I got comments. People were saying to me, "You shouldn't eat farm-raised shrimp. They're horrible. They taste." Now, that tells me one thing. This person didn't watch the video. Why comment on a video you haven't watched? You found an opportunity in a mistake in the title to come on and tell me how bad and wrong I am. Well, you're the kind of person. So I had about 10 of those kind of comments. And then one person actually said, I think you made a mistake in the title. I immediately looked, I edited it, I changed the farm raised to wild caught. It was about within the first hour of its release, and I haven't heard any problems since. But I started thinking, how the hell could I have done that? What was I thinking? The problem was, I think sometimes I spread myself too thin. I'm so used to just talking off the cuff and speaking spontaneously. Sometimes the wrong word just comes out of my mouth. I don't think I'm quite senile yet, so nothing to worry about there. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is a great cup. So, questions in the chat. Questions. I left you plenty of time to put questions in. My God, look at the time. Today I'm having lunch. Today I'm having lunch with my son. The lunch that I was supposed to have on Tuesday, but he had to work. So I will be going to have barbecue with my son. I'm not going to film it. I'm going to have a nice lunch. Come back here, spend some time this afternoon working, do a live stream tonight. I'm looking forward to that. I always enjoy it. I just want to encourage all of you in the private community, come into the panel, the ladies especially. Everybody's talking as usual. Rick and Peter and Rick. Are they number 1 and 2? Aunt B is number 2. Wow. Who's number 1? See, you got me sucked into this thing now. Papa Carnivore is number 3. And, as usual, my friends, is number 1. Number 1 in our hearts. Not even shy about it either. It's funny. Terry Sue, that's funny. We aren't ignoring you, Mitch. We are multitasking. Brilliant people like we are can do that. I'm always multitasking. I'm always doing something. When I do just one thing at a time, I get bored. Ebony Talks is here. Morning, Mr. Mitch. Good morning, Ebony. How are you? And Bill Cook. Van Coyen. Oh, how you doing, Bill? Good to see you. I'm trying to read them at this point. I'm about 10 minutes in, so I'm not too far behind. Just a half an hour. Terry, she says it must be fake. Curry sending the email. No, it's not fake. It's not fake. It's really him. I read the email, and there's too much stuff that only Curry would know. Yeah. It was Curry. I don't get in that old guy Carnivore account. I don't get, other than the fact that I get a sponsorship offer or two every day from some strange. Most of them I think are spam. I don't get many spam emails at all. Rick says, yeah, maybe the fake curry. No, it's not the fake curry. Not the fake curry. I have his email address that I know is his real email, and that's where this email came from. Simpson Johns is here. How you doing? Who is this fake curry? It's I don't even know if it's a troll. It may just be somebody trying to be funny, but they have the YouTube name Homestead Hal, but the O is a 0 in Homestead. And it's obvious that he's fake. And anytime in any chat, if you see something that looks suspicious, just click on the avatar from the user. It'll take you to their channel, and you can see right off the bat. If somebody says they're Homestead Hal, click on that avatar. And when you get to that Homestead Hal channel and it says 7 subscribers, you know it's not the real Homestead Hal. Very simple to verify that. Very simple. You all know that. I don't need to demonstrate it, I don't think. Movie says, wish there was a Brazilian restaurant nearby. Well, yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Not something I want to do every day. I don't eat enough, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm satisfied before I think sometimes I even got my money's worth, but it's a trip. And there are some things at the salad bar, which we normally ignore, that we can eat. They have smoked salmon. Ooh, I know it's farm raised, but I usually grab a bunch of that. There are some cold cuts, salami, things like that. Some people like to have that. Peter says, Cindy, the fake curry comes in Rick's Saturday. Yeah, he does that. And people kind of know he's fake, and it's kind of a joke. I don't think anybody's upset about it. Peter says, the Brazilian steakhouse in Melbourne, Florida that we're going to on Wednesday is very good. I like it a lot. I'll definitely fill up on the list. Yes, Peter. It'll be good to see you. The fake curry showed up on the Homesick Buckeye channel too. Yeah, he's developing his own persona. Why not? Some comedians do fabulous impressions of famous people and show up as them. They show up as them. Andy Kaufman, my God, he'd get into character, and he himself believed he was whoever he was. He was Elvis or somebody like that. Peter says, the fake curry is actually a nice guy, and he admitted he was fake and will be changing his screen name soon back to his real name. Well, that's nice. But it's a gag. It's a shtick. Got to have a little fun in this world. And we as influencers or creators, I feel a little sometimes uneasy when somebody calls me a creator. But influencers, one would hope. Entertainer is more like it. I'm looking for a question. And if you don't put questions in there, I'm going to have to tell you. Buy me a coffee if you would. I'll put the link in the chat. Thank you very much. Let me get rid of this thing that's up top here and say unpin the message, and away it goes. We have such power here. Wow, chatting up a storm. Holy cow, I can't catch up. What's the latest chat saying? Aaron is with us. Retired Rick's still with us. This is current. Terry Sue, Mitch is our godfather. There you go. I'll be the godfather. That's what Rush Limbaugh used to call himself. I admired that guy. A lot of you hate him. There are people in the world, you either love them or you hate them, and I think I'm one of them. So many people don't get me because I don't even take myself seriously, and that's the difference. I'm probably the least egotistical person you'd ever want to meet. I make fun of myself more than I make fun of other people. I just cannot stand these self-absorbed, holier-than-thou people that run around telling you what to do. I can't tolerate it. Rick's still number one. I am an equal opportunity comedian. Yeah, I try to be the same way, Rick. You got to find humor in everything. I've been told that I could find humor in a funeral. Probably. Fake Gary's huge fan of Rick's, but I notice he is always respectful. Yeah, he's a comedian. And at first when they go, hey, Peter, you had an imitator. I remember that. You had a troll, and he kind of came in with your name. But that wasn't, I don't think he was a good guy. I think we banned him right off the bat. He was an ass. We don't have to put up with that. We have power. We can block people. We can put people in the chat. Look at the power we have. Let me click on this here. Channel activity of this person. I can go look at that. And I can see Melissa Lewis, her previous comments. I can see, look at them all. We have that. You can do that, I think. I think maybe you can, but I have things that you don't have. I have, that's not it. This is it. Here's Terry Sue. Channel activity, go to channel, pin message. I can take anybody's message and pin it to the top. Can report them to YouTube as if YouTube's going to jump right on it. Reprimand them. I can remove them. That would be remove that comment. I can put the user in a timeout. That's like in school. Timeout, Johnny. Go sit on this stool in the corner and put the dunce cap on. Yeah, I could do that. Or I can just basically hide the user from the channel entirely. That is a forever thing. Anytime in the future that person comes in and tries to post an entry in my chat or comment on my videos, they will see their own comment, and they don't know unless they can figure out how to come in from a different account. They think, and they will wonder from now until the end of time, how come nobody ever answers my comments? How come I never get a heart? Because nobody sees it. You are in purgatory, my friend. Originally, when I started doing this, I got these trolls and these nasty comments. I said, I can't do that to people. I don't want to do that to people. Eventually, I got so sick and tired of nasty, mean, evil people with nothing to contribute that I said, nah. And I started using the hide users from channel button. And I especially use, I don't think I've ever used it in a live stream, but when I'm going through the hundreds and hundreds of comments, some of them stupid, some of them mean, I'll hide them in a second now. And I can unhide somebody if I could find them. Again, there's so many, the list, I can go to the list and they show you a little page of each time, and I've got 150 pages of these things now. I'll never find you again. So once somebody pushes me to the point of saying, go away, I don't want to deal with you ever again for the rest of my life, they stay going away. And if it was a mistake, sorry. So that's what we can do. And it's, we have to have those things. Otherwise, everybody's channel would be a free-for-all. And you know how many mean, nasty people there are. If you're on social media, you know how much damage they do. You know how many people have been driven off the platforms by these people. I've been embarrassed and shamed by these people. Been doxxed. You know what doxxed means? Publishing their personal information so people can actually find them and do damage and harm. There are more people out there like that than you would ever want to believe. So, to protect ourselves from that, we have the power. And if you start your own, well, you all have a YouTube channel by virtue of your account. But if you start putting things out on there, you have that power too. I also have the power to make somebody a moderator. And when you make somebody a moderator, they have some additional powers. Putting users in timeout. Shire McCabe asked me up here. I'm going over this chat now. Do you sell Morton salt? I don't, but Amazon does. But I have the it's Malden salt, M-A-L-D, and Malden. I have the smoked salt in my links to the stuff I use page on Amazon. And Amazon's equivalent of Black Friday is coming up in a week or so. I'm not allowed to tell you the exact date yet. It's still a big confidential secret. But I am going to be pushing these things that I think are great deals. I make a little money. Even Kiltz admitted today. God, I'd love to hear that. It was so great to hear him say that it's okay for a guy like me to make a little money for all the effort we put in. He feels like I feel. He's kind of embarrassed that he has to. And he doesn't even need to because he's got a very successful chain of medical fertility clinics. But me, I got Social Security and some computer work I do. So, and yet I'm still ashamed to say, buy me a coffee. And I don't know whether it's a testament to whether people don't like me anymore or they're just tired of buying me a coffee. But it's been 4 days since somebody bought me a coffee. And I sit and I say, thousands of people watch my videos. Nobody thinks I'm worth $5. But I don't care. I say I don't care, but you can't help but think what happened. Because it usually, not a lot of money, but some people did. The problem I found was that so many people are overly generous that I feel guilty if they buy me a coffee. And there's only a select few people that would do it regularly. And I almost don't want to take money from them. So I hate to even talk about it. But with Amazon, when people use my Amazon links, it doesn't cost them a penny. They're going to buy it anyway. And if I can show them a good deal, then I've helped them out and they pay me a little money. So maybe that's a better way for people to help me out. It doesn't cost anything. It's no more work. You just have to go to Amazon through one of my links. Buy whatever you want. I get paid for it. It's great. Great. That has been dismal to non-existent lately too. So pretty much I've been not living on, but I've been accepting the ad revenue, which is dismal, that I get from YouTube. And that's about it. And I keep doing this. And you got to believe it's more for the love of it than the money. But money's nice. And that's what Kilt said this morning. And I was so happy to hear somebody else come out and say that. Because if we're trying to be honest with you, if we're trying to not be a con man or used car salesman on here, and we can't admit the reality of what we're doing and how much money we're making so that you can make a decision whether I'm doing it for the money or I'm doing it for the love. You don't have enough information to know whether to trust me or even take anything I say seriously. So I try to tell you what's in it for me. I'm almost ashamed to tell you how little I actually get paid for the tremendous number of hours I spend doing this. It must be a labor of love, or I would have given it up a long time ago. Hey, did anybody ask me a question? Let me get this back down to the bottom over here. And question, Mitch, is it true cooking eggs in water improves digestibility and absorption? I have no idea. I can only tell you people say that. I like cooking eggs in butter. I, to me, I have to prepare food that's palatable for me. I'm a very strange eater. I've never eaten a hard-boiled egg or a runny egg like a soft-boiled egg or easy over. I have to have my eggs cooked a certain way. I cannot stand the smell of a hard-boiled egg. If somebody else is eating it, I'm just strange that way. So don't go by me. And when somebody tells me I'm not getting all the nutrients available, if you cook a steak instead of eating it raw, I have to say, well, so be it. I'm not going to eat raw meat. I don't want to eat raw meat. I don't like raw meat. Don't like the taste, the texture of it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give up eating something that I think is delicious as the one last bastion of some pleasure I get in this world. You have to give up everything else. So if I give up 10% of the nutrients by cooking it a certain way, I'll eat 10% more of it. I'm getting enough nutrients, so I'm not worried about that. And nobody's going to live forever. And if you keep giving up the things in life that you enjoy, now, if you enjoy eating almost raw meat and raw fat, like Kiltz does, that's great. That's great. I don't expect him to want to do it the way I do it. So no, I don't know if the eggs are you lose some nutrients. All I know is I eat 5 to 6 eggs every day, and I get plenty of nutrients from them because I don't think I'm missing any nutrients. And eggs are, as far as I'm concerned, I've said it before, everybody said it, they're nature's vitamins pill. Everything. They're everything necessary to create a living chicken. Everything, every atom of every compound, of every substance, of every amino acid, of every vitamin, mineral, fat. Eggs are 50% fat, and 50% by weight, which equates to about 80% by calories. It's the greatest prepackaged combination. It is a do-it-yourself kit to build a chicken, and that chicken pops out of that egg without one atom of anything else being available to it during the period of its development. And if there's enough stuff in there to give a living organism virtually everything it needs, how can it not contain everything I need? And more than likely in a bioavailable form. It makes sense. Things have to make sense. You can always add butter. You can always add butter to it. You can cook a burger and pour the rendered fat back over the burger. There's so many ways you can add fat, but you have to enjoy the food. And we're all a little different in that respect. There's so many different things that we have to consider. These fermented foods, should I do that or not? I think we pretty well figured out that we can do without the plants and the fiber, but not if you ask anybody out there. Chat is running by. I'm going to just scream through the earlier chat because I don't want to ignore questions. Chances are somebody who may have asked me that question might not even be here anymore. But that's okay. We've got 126 people here, a little better attendance today than it has been earlier in the week. Glad to see that. You know, I make a lot of fun of Peter. But I got to tell you, The boy amazes me. He amazes me. Maybe I haven't given Peter the credit that he deserves. But how the hell do you type that much, Peter, with no typos? Are you voice typing, or are you the world's fastest typist on a keyboard or on a cell phone? I can't do it. Every time I voice type something, I'm gonna have to. When I see you next week, Peter, you make sure. I want to get typing lessons from you. I don't know how you can continually, one after another. It used to annoy me, but now it just amazes me how many sheer words you get out into one of these chats and trying to help people, and that's a good thing. So I'm not fighting fault with you now. I'm just going, wow. How do you keep track of it all? I mean, like every fifth entry is Peter. Now they're talking. Hey, here's a question. Hey, Simpson Johns, how do you cook your beef trimmings so that they are crispy and not burnt tasting? Question all. Well, I don't do that, so you'll have to get your answer from somebody else. But air frying is probably your best bet. Air crisp, if your air fryer has a setting like that. I think you stand the best shot. You could also it's hard to say, can you fry fat in fat? Because the way we fry things to get them crispy is to fry them in some kind of fat. But if you got the fat there, it's just going to render. So if you want to try to heat, you would have to, it's like frying ice cream. They have that now. They do this fried ice cream. They batter the ice cream in some kind of cookie crumb or something, and they put it in extremely hot oil for an extremely small amount of time, and it kind of flash fries the coating, but doesn't melt the ice cream inside. It melts it a little. It's going to be a little gooey, but you start with extremely hard frozen ice cream. You coat it, you flash fry it real quick, and it goes. I think if you did the same thing in an air fryer, if you put the fat trimmings in there, turn the air fryer up to maximum heat for whatever one you have, and just try it. Experiment with really short times. Try it for maybe a minute first and see if that's enough, and keep increasing the time until you start to crisp up the outside. I think that might do it for you. Or you could Google recipes for cooking fat trimming and probably find 100 of them. But that would be in theory, how to do it. I'm still half hour behind in this chat. Okay. John Canellan. How are you, John? It's a new name. Welcome. Question, I eat fat and red meat, and I try to improve on timing. However, it is always tasty. Nice to have worn. I don't know what that means, to hot meat. Warm to hot meat. Yeah, I'm the same way. I want my meat cooked. And there's certainly ancestral justification for that. We have been cooking meat on a stick over a fire for 1 million years or more. And somehow we survived as a species. So maybe not all of our ancestors ate the raw meat. Maybe most of our ancestors didn't eat the raw meat like lions do. Since the time before fire, there are those that say that cooking meat releases some nutrients. I don't know how you test that. I don't know what studies there are. But I say, if you have a choice between doing it in a manner that is most pleasant and enjoyable to you, or following somebody's advice that you really can't stand, but you're doing it because you think it's going to be better for you, You have to say to yourself, which one of those will ensure that I stick to this and not get tired of it? Because if you keep trying to do something that's not pleasant to you, you will stop doing it. There's no doubt. None of us will do something for life that is that unpleasant when there's another way that's almost as good, according to who, that we really enjoy and are likely to do. So you have to weigh those two factors. Yeah, I could eat raw meat. It disgusts me. I probably last 3 days. Is that? Yeah, I got tremendous nutrition from it in 3 days, but then I went back to eating Twinkies, ice cream, and pizza. That's not helpful. Do whatever you like, because that's what you're going to do. Same thing is true with work. If you really love your job, it's not work. But if you hate your job, it's drudgery. People have to do that, but nobody wants to. Nobody wants to. You're doing it the way you like it. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. Yeah, I didn't see the quote, but no, I don't think you could crisp up fat in a crock pot. They will render into liquid eventually. You need high heat. You need to heat up the outside. That's why things that are fried in deep fat crisp up so fast, because the initial blast of heat on the outside. That's why you sear a steak at a high temperature. It seals in what's inside, and because for the fact that it has something called the Maillard reaction that does make it crispy and flavorful. We all love that. Who doesn't love burnt ends from a brisket? Oh, that's my question. I just passed the question I answered already. Well, good. We're getting there. I know. Go ahead, man. I find coffee and tea bitter and do not make it home. Avoid them. Well, there's no harm in not drinking coffee or tea. He said when he takes a sip from his poop cup. Oh, it's already 20 minutes to 10. Holy cow. Where did that time go? Where did that time go? Yeah. If you want coffee, if you need coffee, if you're addicted to caffeine, like so many of us are, and you don't like the black coffee, and you have to sweeten it up with something, you might try a small amount of stevia or allulose or something like that. It ain't the greatest thing in the world, but it makes you enjoy it, rather than going towards something that's much worse for you, so be it. But if you don't like coffee, or you find coffee and tea bitter, I guess you were talking about without sugar. A lot of discussions going on about beef fat. I think that's Kiltz's effect on the crowd here. He talks about fat an awful lot. Well, I can't even read everything you typed. It would take me more time to read it than I have left on here. I don't know how you do it. Do you have a brain implant that it plugs into your cell phone and it types what you're thinking and manages to do it correctly? Tanya, Tanya, what a conspiracy theorist you are. I think the fake Harry is one of us. You may be right. You may be right. Here's a question about the Malden salt. I sell That I don't sell it. Amazon does, but I have a link to it on my page, which is OldGuyCarnivore.com website. Click on the links to stuff I use page, and just scroll down it, and you'll see it. It's I showed you that before. You all know it, but that's where you find the Amazon stuff. Or go to Amazon if you want to buy something. Just do it through one of my links. And here it is. This is the page right here. This is the page. And up here in the menu, see it? We have Carnivore Basics, which is a nice little thing I put together. Some great information in here. Pretty much, you just read this, and you could be doing carnivore and know enough to get by. Links to stuff I use every day. I have it broken down into t-shirts, supplements, food and pantry. So if you go to food and pantry staples, you'll find the Molten Salt right here. Molten Salt, smoked sea salt flakes. But when you're there, you can go to any molten salt. I have the Himalayan salt in there, which I use. I have the red and real salt, which I use. The pork rind crumbs that I use in my recipes. Real delicious grass-fed ghee. And the one time I use seasoning, maybe on chicken thighs, is the Kinder's. That has a little pepper and garlic in it. But again, I'm not a carnivore Nazi. Also on here, I have the sardines and anchovies. They have sardines through Wild Planet, and the salmon I use for my salmon cakes. Great stuff. Great stuff. Then we get down into the appliances and tools, and these are all the gadgets we've talked about over the years, including the Duvalier mineral fiber, my favorite frying pan, the Mueller 12-inch, the meter, wireless thermometer, this thermometer, the baking grease catcher, salt and pepper stuff, all the air fryers and things like that, little tools, hamburger choppers, vacuum sealer, the greatest one in the world as far as I'm concerned, crock pot, all the stuff that I use. Even the coffee mug warmer from Francine Bourgeois that I bought. That's in there too. Little hamburger press. I have this little portable stove. Not expensive. Runs on butane or propane. If the power ever fails, everything I got in this house is electric. I wouldn't be able to cook indoors. I'd have to go outside and fire up the barbecue. Who knows how it might be a hurricane. So this lets me cook indoors if all else fails. Great little thing to have. Believe it or not, I've had it. I have never had to use it, but I guess I'm comforted knowing that it's there. And this water bottle that I mix my electrolytes in every day. Great stuff. And then, of course, the t-shirts. And the coffee cup. Get your morning coffee cup. Let me sell something. T-shirts I have. Cameras I use. People ask me questions about all this stuff. And exercise equipment, including my new vibration plate, which I think is really helping me. It's great. So it's a great resource. I think it's a great resource for people who are trying to be on carnivore. You have all this stuff, or most of this stuff here. You're a carnivore. You have no problem, no excuse not to do it. Information I get a hold of me. I think it's a neat website. I don't spend too much time adding stuff to it, but it's a resource. OldGuyCarnivore.com, not hard to remember. So there's a commercial from my website. Melissa Lewis says, I tried the sugar diet, not for me. I'm past it. Why would you do something like that? Oh man, watch more carnivore videos. You'd never do that. It will work if you do it, and you will lose weight quickly. You'll be killing yourself, I think, in the process if you do it for more than a week or two. You obviously didn't go. Sugar is toxic. I don't care. Sugar is toxic. If I came up with a rat poison diet, would people do that? They're not addicted to rat poison, but boy, they're addicted to sugar. So it all comes together. You tell me I can eat 600 grams of sugar a day and lose a ton of weight? Yeah, you can do it for 2 days before you just die. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think it's absurd. I still think it's absurd. It came out of the bodybuilding community. It has one useful purpose for bodybuilders. That is to get ripped for a competition by reducing your body fat from maybe 10% to 4% in a short period of time. But to do it for any more than a few weeks is folly. And I do believe, since we don't see a bunch of 100-year-old bodybuilders, that you're doing more permanent damage by doing something like that than you'll ever recover from. And it is going to cost you years of your life. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Terry Sue, where's the be the sugar diet makes my teeth hurt. Think about yes, it is so dumb. Let me search your questions here because we got to get going. Got to get going. Oh, man, every chatting away. Holy cow. See questions, do not see them. That's what happens when I got an audience full of people who know so much, they don't have many questions. Tuka, how are you, boss? When do you start teaching me how to become wise like you? Yeah, thank you, Tuka. Thank you. Thank you. Retired Rick says, Mitch, I have the same thing with buy me a coffee. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. What are you going to do? It's there. If I don't mention it, the old you don't ask, you don't get thing. I don't, honestly, God, it's just a little something. I did it initially rather, because it's an alternative to, say, a super chat. Yeah, you notice I don't get super chats. Once in a while, I get one or two, but I'm not that kind of channel where I'm a doctor and I'm going to answer questions and 10 billion people want to get free medical advice that are all asking questions, and I can't possibly find the questions and keep up with that and see them all in a short period of time like Ken Berry or Chafee does. So in all the way that if I was a viewer that I have to maybe get noticed is give them a big super chat early on in the stream and put the question in there because it comes up in different colors on his screen. Plus, I have a way I can just see what's called fan funding on my screen here. And let me show it to you here. It is right here. It is right here. See it? It says fan funding. I can look at different things in the chat. I can see the top chat, the live chat, or fan funding, and any super chat show up here. So if somebody is nice enough to give me a super chat, that lights up on a big red, yellow, orange block or whatever, and I see it happen, and I can acknowledge it. Or if it has a question, it's a way. And this is what Ken Berry and Anthony Chafee look at during their live stream. So all those super chats with all the questions are lined up here. And once they have the first one of those, they stop going through the regular chat, which is over here. They stop going through that. And they only look over at the ones that people paid them. Nothing wrong with that. It's how to get noticed in a crowd. It's how to get a good table at a crowded restaurant. You slip the maitre d' $5. We all do it. Everybody does. Nothing wrong with it. But YouTube takes 30%. 30%. So when you give a YouTuber $10 super chat, he gets $7. Buy me a coffee is a way to give that same YouTuber a few dollars and you get almost all of it. But you can't ask questions, so it's not useful. in a situation where you're trying to get your question noticed on a usually busy channel. No, it is what it is. You can't support everybody out there, that's for sure. So many of us are compassionate, warm, wonderful people that you know that there are less fortunate people out there than I who have a tougher time every day living and have to work some kind of a menial or physical job. They're younger, they got kids to support. You'd say, well, I'm going to give my money to them because nobody expects you to support everybody. So I don't get insulted when I don't get people buying me a coffee. You guys on my birthday and special occasions are usually generous to me, and I appreciate it. But when I don't see one for 4 or 5 days, I wonder if something is broken, if something is wrong, if something happened on the site where you did buy me a coffee and the money never got to me. That's the only thing that seems strange, because I've never ever gone 4 or 5 days without not even one coffee before. So we'll see. I hate that. Yeah, maybe they're having problems. I got a little more coffee and a lot more chat to get through. Here we have a question. Mitch, you got that one? Okay. And Kathy says she wish Rick would set up a buy me a coffee. He can do that. You don't have to meet any qualifications of number of viewers or anything. Just go to buy me a coffee and start an account. You certainly could, Rick, and I'm sure people give you a little money. I would encourage you to do that. I might even give you $1. Come on. I got to run through this now. I am 23 minutes behind, and catch it up. So we question to anyone when making bone broth, does anyone put some veggies in or just bones? Well, if you put veggies in it, it's not carnivore anymore. The only reason you put a vegetable in bone broth is because there's something about you like in the flavor. But no, I think that most people who make bone broth don't put veggies in it. That's just what I know. I don't make bone broth. Going through, looking for questions. Okay, there we go. Kathy, imagine asking a waitress for a hot cup of water and some pats of butter for butter tea. That's funny. They look at you like you're nuts. When I was a kid, they had things called fizzies. Remember them? Did you ever remember fizzies? They're like Alka-Seltzers, like flavored Alka-Seltzers. That's the closest I can think of. You had grape and cherry and lime and lemon, and you take them and you plop them in a glass of water, and it fizzed and created soda. Well, we were kids, and we would take them into restaurants with us and go into a restaurant, sit down at a table, and when they came up and said, "What do you want?" we'd say, "Just a glass of water." And we throw the fizzy in it, and we sit in the restaurant and drink our sodas and leave. And we didn't have to do this too often before they started throwing us out of restaurants. Well, that's pretty much the same thing. I think if you just ask for a glass of hot water and a pat of butter, they would have to charge you $1 or $2 or $3 for that, or why would they put up with you? And if you're willing to pay for it, they bring you anything. If you're willing to pay for it, I think. Okay. If you even have This is not for today. Why is being a vegan associated with liberal and political ways of carnivore and conservative? Because carnivores are smart and vegans are idiots. And I'll leave it at that without getting in too much into politics. But the kind of person who throws common sense out the window, makes all their decisions on 100% based emotional pitches and narratives, is being used by everybody promoting those pitches and narratives, is a fool, is a sheep, is a follower in most cases. Sits around campfires singing Kumbaya, is on every Save the Animals committee, PETA, and everything else. And of course, it makes wild sense that these people would not want to eat animals because they think it's so evil and wrong. Have no idea that it's something that is how we got here. They wouldn't be alive if their ancestors hadn't eaten animals. They'd be swinging in the trees in Africa, throwing feces at each other, had not their ancestors started eating animals. And they're too stupid to understand that and hard-headed. That's why vegans mostly are liberals. They will sit down in the middle of an interstate highway and stop traffic, holding signs, and have to be dragged off by the police. That's stupidity. Have you ever seen a carnivore at a protest march? No. That's my political point of view for this morning. Interesting question. Interesting question. Question, how long were you carnivore before you started your channel, Kathy says. Well, Kathy, pure carnivore. It's like carnivore, 1 year. I was, but I was keto many years and low carb for 55 years. Between the times that I didn't fall off the wagon and get fat again. But I've always believed in the low carb. I've always believed in keto or being in ketosis, which was one of the goals of the Atkins diet. So I can say on one hand, strict carnivore, no veggies, no nothing else. I'm just about 3 years now. 1 year before I started carnivore on YouTube, I felt after a year, I knew enough. After a year, I knew enough not to embarrass myself and maybe talk about some things useful that I discovered about how to beat my addictions in that first year, which is why I always talk probably more than anybody else about addiction being the number one problem we all have, above, far beyond everything else. Sugar addiction. It's it. It's it. So I hope that answers your question. I heard my phone go ding. I thought maybe somebody bought me a coffee. No, says, yes, it still works. My God, it still works. Holy cow. It's been 4 days. Wow. Pat, the Armand, bought me 3 coffees, says, enjoy your chats. Pat, thank you so much. I was about to go and buy myself a coffee just to see if there was a problem, but you renewed my faith in humanity, my friend. Thank you so much. And I hope I've insulted any of you that might be liberals out there. I don't have a problem with that as long as you're not sitting in the middle of Interstate 95, stopping traffic, pouring blood all over people's cars with signs that say animal killer. Now you're asking questions. Question. I saw a farmer say on Lily Kane's channel, pasture-raised eggs, cage-free, etc. is pure marketing. Buy eggs from a local farmer. Well, yes, it might be pure marketing. In most cases, it is. A lot of us don't have local farmers. I don't have one. I can't go scouring what few maybe markets there might be. And in our society, they dwindle if you live in a city. Great if you're out in the country, but if you live in a city, finding a local farm ain't easy because some condo developer bought up all the farmland years ago. There are some pasture, you have to be careful. There are some pasture-raised eggs, Joseph. Nellie's eggs. Can't find anything wrong with them. I can't always find them. Walmart had them sometimes. But they're sourced from a huge consortium of small local farmers. So when they say pasture-raised eggs, they mean it. And they're not priced ridiculously. They're not the cheapest. And I got some from Walmart once, but the next time I went back to Walmart to get them, this was before my stroke, when I could go to stores. I didn't have to rely on delivery for food, which I do now, and hopefully I won't have to much longer. But got the Nellies. They were great. They were delicious. The best eggs that Sam's Club has are the Sam's Club pasture-raised eggs that I bought. But like Lily Keene's farmer said, right on the front of the label of that, for the longest time it said 100% vegetarian fed, which is something, it's like selling people beef. They want to buy lean beef because they think fat is killing them, when it's a lack of fat that's killing them. Well, chickens are not vegans. Chickens, in most respects, are omnivores. They'll eat some grains. But they're meat eaters. Birds are meat eaters. They're carnivores. Next time you see a buzzard circling over some carrion, keep in mind, he's not circling an orange tree. He's circling dead meat, waiting for it to be really dead so he can swoop in there and eat the raw meat. That's birds. Chickens, even fish. What do we use when we go fishing? We use worms. That's what fish are attracted to. Chickens, why are they pecking in the ground? They're looking for grubs and worms. That's meat and protein. How can a pasture-raised chicken be 100% vegetarian fed? You don't feed a pasture-raised chicken. It feeds itself. That's what pasture-raised means. The contradiction, if it isn't obvious to everybody, means it just shows how brainwashed we are. Well, Sam's Club, I think they are legitimately pasture-raised eggs. They finally took that nonsense off the label. It doesn't say that anymore. Somebody realized that vegetarian fed is 100% opposite from pasture-raised. And the eggs are good and they're delicious and they're the best I can get. And that's the thing. So the moral of this story is learn how to try to find the last vestiges of unmolested foods at the standard places that people in most of this country shop. Learn how to understand the labels. Learn how to recognize the clues. It's hard. It's hard, but and do the best you can, because that's better than what most people are doing. So yeah, the guy's got a point, but there's a lot of people on Carnivore with points. Unfortunately, we're not in a position, either geographically, financially, to do what they do. So do the best you can. And I admire Ken Berry for saying it best. He said, if the best and only meat you can find and afford to buy is Spam and hot dogs, that's what you should eat. You will be doing so much better than people eating all those sugars and plants. Spam and hot dogs. Yeah, there's a lot of crap in Spam and hot dogs, but it's less crap than you'd be eating otherwise. can't be a purist. Not all of us can be purists. We have to do the best we can with what's available and educate ourselves enough to maybe be able to recognize the difference. My phone went off again. Oh, wow. Tanya bought me a coffee. Hi, Tanya. You always come through. Saying hi to Mitch and see if it works. Yes, it does, sweetie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Really do. I was more concerned about what had happened, and 4 days had gone by. The last coffee was 4 days ago. Jerry Boytish bought me a coffee, and I appreciate that. But after 4 days of begging for coffee and nobody, yeah, you begin to get a complex, you know. So thank you for reaffirming my faith in my followers. You guys evidently still love me. All right, Watson says, go Mitch. I see that was at 9:56. Oh, I'm almost caught up. It's after 10. We're approaching record territory for the longest show. Quite a while. Wow. Still 107 people here. Scared you all away. All right. It's nice when I'm coming up to the end of it. Oh, man, this is a real question. It got all kinds of cues. Mitch asked earlier, did the shrimping container, did you have to clean or devein, or did they? No, they come, just unfreeze them and dump them in a frying pan. That's all I did. Didn't even rinse them off. They tasted so good. They were frozen. Not a hint. I mean, they were deveined excellently. No tail. They come in 2-pound bags at Sam's Club, frozen. Like $25 or something like that. But that's, you use a half a pound in your omelet, it's $6. They're delicious. They're delicious. I could have rinsed them. I didn't see the need to. I've been eating food out of containers a long time without washing it off. How many of you have ever washed off Doritos before you ate them? They were good. Very simple. Very simple. Night before, take out a half pound of them, throw them in a Tupperware, put it in the fridge. Next day, it'll be defrosted. Very little liquid to pour out. You saw that in the video, which is good. Means that that they're not all ice. Very little liquid. And then I just took the shrimp right from pouring the liquid out and put it in the frying pan. I'm alive today to prove to you that nothing in there killed me. B-Matt says he tried buying me a coffee twice this morning and it didn't work. What part of it, Matt, didn't work? Was it it wouldn't take your money, or where did it stop you? I'd like to know that. Send me an email and let me know. Because if the thing's not working or people are having a hard time getting through it, why would I bother? Maybe some people are complaining I didn't get to the questions because people are so used to. Evidently, I must have missed something because people are saying the best way to get noticed is QQQ plus Old Guy Carnivore. I don't have the luxury. I don't. Jim, did I miss your question, Jim? Is there something you asked me? I'm so sorry. You had to put yourself in my place. I don't have the luxury of having Alia and people reading the chats and picking out the questions for me. And sometimes I'm going to miss it. Aaron had a question. What are the most significant changes you have noticed in your diet since the diet? Well, you know what that is. Everything. The most significant one was the disappearance of all pain. I had rheumatoid arthritis, crippling. There were days I couldn't tie my shoes. Gone completely. The disappearance of the kidney stones that have plagued me most of my life. The skin conditions that had plagued me most of my life. My eyesight got better. But most significant was the lack of pain. The lack of pain. I think a new significant thing I noticed is quick recovery from my stroke. People are amazed. Considering where I started, fully paralyzed on my right side, and where I am today, 4 months later, I credit to the fact that my brain is healing. And in order for your brain to heal, you need two things. You need fat and cholesterol. And I get plenty of both. I got the cholesterol and I eat plenty of fat. So in that respect, I can't think of any other eating regimen that could be any healthier for a human being than carnivore or really, really low carb keto. So now you people are talking about ways to pay for things online. I just want to make sure. I answer everybody who buys me a coffee. I always reply with a thank you. If you bought me a coffee and you didn't get a thank you, let me know. Maybe I didn't get it, and I don't want people paying money to them and they don't pay me. Please, let me know. I want to check my phone. It just went off again. Peter brought me a coffee. Peter says, looking forward to seeing you next week, Mitch. Enjoy. Okay. Thank you, Peter. So Peter knows how to do it, and Peter is very helpful. So if any of you are having a problem, Matt, you could see if maybe Peter knows what's going on. There, Peter, I've assigned a problem to you. And if I missed any questions, again, I'm sorry. You know the volume of chatting we get. It looked like it worked, but my card wasn't charged, and I didn't get my. Okay, if your card wasn't charged, there was an error. Did they not tell you what it was? But as long as you're not charged for it, we could, hopefully we can find out why. But thank you so much for the attempt, which is as important to me as the coffee itself. The thought. It's the thought. Thank God I don't have to make a living at that. Jeb says, thanks, Mitch. I'll try the shrimp. It's good shrimp. But boy, if I don't get going, I'm going to be here all day. Might be the longest live stream in history. If I just stay here all day, we'll switch it over to a private community at night. I wouldn't have eaten or maybe gone to the bathroom, but got it. Did it. Got to the end. Got to the end of the chat. There you go. It's a long one today, but I enjoyed it, and it went by fast. And little happy music to close this out. Time to go. Be back tonight. Good to see y'all. Thanks for coming. Thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I see Rick is #1 still in the chat. Say goodbye to your friends. Until the next live stream, whoever it may be. Thomas? Is Thomas? Yeah, I know Thomas usually comes on after me. So we'll all move over to Thomas's house and ask him questions for a while. Gemma says, thank you, Mitch and Mitch Fitz. Oh, yeah. And Peter at Quack Sound to end the show. Yes, and B. Number two. Terry Sue, bye, everyone. Pat the Armand, bye, everyone. And thank you again for those coffees. John Beatty Art. Thomas Who. Target Prime Rib. That's who Thomas is. Kitchen Wish says, love you, Mitch. Back at you. Sweetie, thank you so much. Jackie W. Realtor, Later Gators, Feral Grandma. I will email. Good. Send me an email. I'll have you on Sunday. Maggie Malone Freckles, have a good day, Mitch. John Beatty Art, thanks, Mitch. John sent me an email, said he might be able to make it to the meetup. We'll see. And that ends it. So, my friends, 1 hour and 45 minutes of nonstop talking. I need to rest my voice a little bit for tonight. So, I still have things to do. And even though I might be busy, you have my permission to take the rest of the day off and eat meat